Probably just because I started recording.
Yeah, probably. Okay. You are watching Same Mom, Different Dads. Thank you for watching this episode. Things have been a little crazy lately. I'm going to jump into why. And yeah, how are you doing, Joe?
Doing great. Busy as
Good.
hell with work, so that's
Good.
always a plus.
Yeah, that makes two of us.
Yeah.
I got a new job.
Okay.
So Monday night or Monday evening, this last Monday,
Yeah.
I went on to my company's website, the company I've been working for. I've been working overnights doing order pulling of furniture at night. And I've been doing 4 10-hour shifts. And I didn't like it, right? Like you're pulling you're pulling furniture all night, right?
Yeah.
So exhausting. And I've been working toward my A+ certification, right? I want to work in IT as kind of my day job while I build, the film company and stuff.
Right.
And so Monday night or Monday evening, I decided, you know what? I'm just going to check out to see what this company I'm already working with, what they have, like in terms of IT. They have an IT department, but I don't know if they have anything available. So they did. They had an entry-level IT position available. So I revised my resume, sent it in, emailed the guy, emailed the hiring manager, who's actually like the head of IT for the whole company. And the next morning at like 9 a.m., I got a call and they said, "Hey, would really like to interview you. Can you come in today?" And I said, "Sure." So I went in at 11:30 the next day, so Monday night. Next day, I go in at 11:30. They offer me the job in the interview, like right in the middle of the interview. They offer me the job. They're like, "We knew you were our guy before you even showed up, so the job is yours if you want it."
That's cool.
Yeah, and he actually said, "And we'll actually, if we can, we're going to try to keep you from working another overnight if we could avoid it." And I was like, "Yes, please. That would be amazing." So. So the next day comes around. I said, "Hey," I sent him a text. I said, "Hey, I still haven't received the official job offer in the email. Like, what's going on there?" Basically, and I had to go to work that night, right? I was like, nudge, nudge. I don't want to work tonight. Can you get this through? And within a few hours, he said, like, "Yeah, don't show up to work tonight. You're good." Like the job offer came through and everything. So, yeah, in less than 18 hours, I applied for a job and got it.
That's always awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's a good feeling. Yeah, I've had it happen before.
Feeling, yeah. And I'm working in IT, right? So I'm working in, I'm a level 1 IT, associate, which is great. You got to start somewhere, right?
So what exactly does that entail? Like, what are you going to be, and no pun intended, entail? I was trying to make a pun, dude. Even though I said no pun intended, I was just trying to mess with you. But what exactly are you going to be doing as far as, you said it's entry level. So what does that mean?
What's referred to as like level 1 stuff, which is, basic troubleshooting. Like, is it turned on? Is it plugged in? But there's also a lot of remote networking and operating people's computers remotely. A lot of network. It's a lot of network stuff, which I'm not super familiar with. So it'll be good. Good experience. Good education on that. Working with a ton of programs I've never worked with before. And just making sure that the company is up and running on all cylinders, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So I'm working in Thornton right now.
Okay.
So commuting about 30 minutes. It's the warehouse we went to look for furniture for you that one time.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a huge one, dude.
It is big.
That's a huge one.
Their headquarters. I've been working at their headquarters for the last couple days in Inglewood. Oh my word! Talk about a huge warehouse. Yes, it's absurd. So I've been pulling like 10-hour shifts just to kind of catch up because I did miss a shift because I wasn't working at night. So I was pulling 10-hour shifts, and I don't get a day off until Friday. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had one real day off yesterday. It was the first real day I've had off in probably 3 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, to where like a real day off, not to where I'm
Yeah.
like doing administrative work and
Right,
running my numbers and doing receipts and all that. No, we slept till 11:30.
Nice.
Got up. Olga brought me coffee and pumpkin bread with chocolate chip morsels in it to bed. We
Sweet.
drank it. We ate it. We got a refill on our coffee, and we watched a movie and TV probably till 4:30. We got up, made dinner, and then just vegged out the rest of the evening. It was so awesome.
Awesome. No, that's good. That's a good feeling.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it was like nice. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this week, and I'm on a shower remodel right now. And
cool.
So yeah, I'm gonna finish that up Thursday morning, but Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday be in Denver.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Sneaking up. Everything's sneaking up on me
This
right now. It's just,
weekend.
dude, it's been a whirlwind.
Oh
Yeah.
It happens to me all the time, dude. I'll be like, oh, I gotta do that. Forgot to do that. Oh shit. I always forget something. It's never anything that's like
Right. Yeah.
gonna kill me if I don't remember, but I always forget something.
Yeah.
Almost always.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, man, we're ready to get out of town for a minute. It's like a little change of pace, go visit somewhere and see a different scenery.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like I'm locked in my house too much. If it wasn't for work, dude, the work that I do, which I have to leave the house.
Right.
Oh, my mental health would not be good right now.
No. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I'd be hanging on by a thread if I didn't get to leave the house to go to work.
Seriously. Yeah. Man. So yeah, like I said, I've been working in Inglewood, and it's a nice place. Like Inglewood is a really nice place.
Oh yeah.
And so I thought, like, well, what if we looked for a place down this way? It'd be a long way from like Eleanor's school and stuff, but just like out of curiosity. So I did a blanket search for houses in Inglewood, like no price limit, any house, anything. There's not a single property for sale in Inglewood.
Wow.
Yeah. Colorado right now is at an all-time low for available properties.
Oh, I believe it.
I think the number is like something, somewhere it's like between 12 and 14,000 properties are normally for sale, right? Like normally you have around, it's like 12 to 14,000 properties for sale.
For Denver or for Colorado?
For Colorado, for the whole state.
Okay.
We're at about 1,200 right now. Yeah.
Oh, and if you want one of those properties, you gonna pay.
Yeah.
You gonna pay.
Yeah, exactly.
Break out that checkbook and hope there ain't a ceiling on how much you can spend.
Yep. So
wow.
Yeah. Marcy said one of the real estate agents she was talking to said that it was like last week, or no, it was like a posting. Last week, 46 new houses went on the market. Last week, 46 houses sold.
I mean, listen, it's incredible to live somewhere like that, but your real option not to get raked over the coals on buying a property is to find a little like an acre lot and have something new built. Right. Or nowadays in Colorado, it's like a 1/10 of an acre lot. You get a little patch of grass.
Yeah, exactly. And based on what I've heard and what I've seen, and I don't take my word for this, I'd have to double check, but I think my assumption is pretty accurate. I think one of my concerns is like real estate moguls or people who are getting into real estate, because it's very trendy right now, right? Oh, yeah. Becoming a real estate mogul. They're buying up these houses with no intention of reselling them. They just want to rent them. So then you have available houses for sale shrinking because of that as well.
Yeah. That makes sense. I mean, a lot of companies, and a lot of them came from California and a good amount from Texas, but a lot of people from California, these companies were buying up houses here because they were dirt cheap and they knew they were going to jump up tremendously, and they did.
Yeah.
And I've talked to several people, like this one dude was like, it was a 700 square foot shack. He's like, we just want to own something here.
Yes.
And he's like, they're asking 150. He's like, we told him we'll give you $200,000. By the morning time, we got outbid. The company that wanted the property came in and bid 325.
Oh,
over 200.
Yeah.
And I was like, are you serious, dude? Like, they wanted 150, the homeowner. You offer them 200, which is a generous offer.
Yeah.
And then they come in and offer them 325 because they're a big company and give them cash. And he's like, oh, yeah, dude. He's like, it's happened to us 8 times. He said 8 times.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, I'd be so frustrated.
People are competing against huge companies, and it's ridiculous. It's truly ridiculous, and they can't build houses fast enough here. They just can't do it, right? They're trying to. I think they're trying to, yeah, but they just can't. And so I'm fully confident that God is going to bring us something, that we're going to find something. Like I'm not worried about that, but you also have to look at the situation and see how absolutely absurd it is.
It's crazy. I mean, it's starting to happen here.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure, because people are leaving Colorado because they're like, oh, New Mexico, it's cheaper. Blah, blah,
I've
blah,
talked
blah,
to
blah.
several people here that are new to the state, and every one of them came from California.
Oh yeah.
Every one of them.
I believe it. Yep.
And there's also a few people I've met that came from Texas, but more so California. And it's starting to happen here because what was it? Me and Olga was looking, I might be wrong on the number, but the place we're renting, the people bought it at the beginning of 2020.
Yeah.
I think February, 2020. Okay. So they bought it for, I think it was like 250 something. Which a year ago it was like 190 or something like that. Like it went up like 70 grand in a year.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's a condo. I'm like, dang, man. So we're looking right now trying to figure out what we can buy and what's going to be a good deal. We found this apartment online. It said, didn't say anything in the description. It says $65,000. It's a nice renovated, well, new appliance, new countertop, new kitchen renovated anyways.
Yeah.
1-bedroom apartment. It's in a nice complex, quiet. It's 1 bedroom, 1 bath, or maybe 1.5 bath, but they're asking $65,000 for it. So the lady calls us back. So I'm like, listen, 65 grand, that's perfect. We can rent that for probably $1,400 a month. And that covers our mortgage and we make a little bit of money, you know what I mean, to put towards something else.
Yeah.
And I can take care of the maintenance for unless it's something I have to have licensed someone do. And the lady calls us and tells, oh, that's $65,000 per person. It's a timeshare. Like you only get it for like 3 months out of the year. I was like, what?
What?
Like, oh, what? 65 grand to share it with like 3 other owners?
Yeah, no, thank you.
Like, pass. It's like swipe left on Tinder. It's like, bah, get out of here, dude. I was like, nah.
Yeah.
But
it's
the only thing we've had that looked promising since we started looking is a place in Cochiti Lake, which is part of the Pueblos, and it's on a land contract till 2068. Once 2068 hits, it goes back to the Pueblos, no matter what you've done to the house.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I'm like, and then if you do anything while you're in that house and they deem it against Pueblo, their law on that, their own, they have their own law system.
Right.
I got Joe Lavery talking like a hillbilly half the time. He's got to go in front of a Pueblo courts. And I'm like, nah, man, I want to buy my own property. Pretty clear to do what I want on my property, and
seriously.
But they're asking, I mean, the house is big and it's on a good size lot and the house is big.
Right.
It's kind of big. It's really big. I think it's like a little over 2,000 square feet or something like that. But they were asking 273, and I'm like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Because I was like, that seems like a really good deal. Like, this house has a lot of potential. It's not crazy out to date or anything. You could move in and be comfortable for a year if you had to, and before you start fixing things
Right.
up. And I'm like, 273, that's crazy. And then she finds out, and I'm like, I just don't like the idea of that, because where it's at, you're not going to find renters that are looking to be 30 minutes from anything,
Right.
So
Right.
just, yeah, it's getting crazy. They're building a lot of apartment complexes. They're doing the same thing they did in Denver, in Colorado. They're just
Oh, I'm
building a
sure.
ton of rental property, but they're not building new housing. They are
Right.
here and there, but way more apartments,
Yeah.
like condos, but they're apartments. Yeah, it's crazy. So I'm
It
like,
is.
we're trying to
is.
find something.
Yeah.
We're probably gonna have to pay. So
Yeah.
I better
know.
keep working my butt off 7 days a week.
Yep.
Gotta strike it
Oh,
rich, man. We got 10 subscribers, bro. We're headed to the big time.
Oh yeah. Double
Listen.
digits.
All those new subscribers are guys from my group.
Cool.
So yeah, I've been telling them. So
that's awesome. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, every little bit helps, right?
I told them, if it ain't your thing, it won't hurt my feelings. Just hit the subscribe button. Just don't hit the bell notification.
Yeah.
Or the bell
Yeah.
button. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I ain't gonna know if you hit it or not.
Well, the thing is, most people who subscribe to a channel end up not watching the content anyway. It's like you get like 10% of your viewership are subscribers. It's some absurd number.
Oh, really? Usually people just browsing through.
Yeah, it's really low. You could have 2 million subscribers and only get like 20,000 views per video. And that's at like 2 million subscribers. So,
what's crazy is I follow a guy that does reaction videos, and he started, I probably told you about him, but he has like right under 3 million subscribers. And he did this all in about 3-4 years time.
Yeah.
And, that dude posted a video, and I'm telling you, like, a lot of his videos are well over 100,000 views per.
Good.
Like
that's great.
He has videos that are like 800,000-900,000 views. Come on.
Those are astounding numbers, actually. Yeah.
I know, dude.
Yeah.
Crazy. I was like, because I look at other people who have like 600,000-700,000 subscribers. One other guy, a little over 1 million subscribers, and on average, it's like 20,000-30,000 views. Every now and then they get 50,000 to 70,000 views.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, him, I was like, man, he's the king of reaction videos. That's for sure. No doubt about it. I mean, whatever he's doing, he's doing it right.
Yeah, seriously.
Exactly how to hit that algorithm, but
Yep.
But yeah, man, I mean, it's how you got to do it. You just got to keep doing it like it's your job. And then
consistency. That's all it is.
Your job, and it becomes your job. So definitely.
Yeah, it won't become your job unless you treat it like a job, right?
Yeah. You got to play the part before you get the part. I always say that. You got to play the part before you get the part. I used to tell people that. And when I used to do apartment maintenance, they're like, oh, I want to move. I want to make more money. I'm like, well, you got to act like you want it before you actually ever get it, dude.
Yeah, you got to show some initiative, right?
Nobody's going to give you anything because you just want it.
Well, the thing is, like, I think the test for whether or not you really want something is whether or not you really go after it.
Yeah.
If you're not going after it, you don't really want it.
Yeah.
I think you just like the idea of it, right?
Well, or you could be like me sometimes, and I put myself in a situation on purpose to where I'm like, shit, I have to, or else I'm gonna die or something. You know what I mean? Like,
no, that's a real thing. Yeah, that's a real thing. You're putting yourself in a tough place so that you have to do it, right?
You have to do it. I mean,
you have to. Yeah.
So it's like when I moved to Colorado, it's like there was no time for bullshitting around. Like, I had to get it done, So I mean, had to.
And look where it led you.
I know, dude. Listen, man. I had a friend, one of my best friends, and I'm not gonna say their name or nothing because I don't do that, but they know who they are if they ever heard this. Told me when I was talking about leaving, and I talked to you, and we made it. We had worked something out. I'm like, all right, I'm leaving. This is the day I'm leaving.
Right.
It's happening. she was like, you know, Joey, all your friends and family here, changing your area code ain't going to change your life. And I was like,
that's not true.
Are you serious?
It changes everything.
I was like, yeah, whether it's good or bad.
Yeah, it changes everything.
It changes everything. So now, I mean, it's even changed the person I'd be. The person I am today would not. I would not be the same person, and I think I'm in a better place than I would have been if I would have stayed where I was.
Dude,
you
can't stop smiling,
dude. Like, I met the love of my life, dude, by just venturing out and going out way outside my comfort zone.
Yeah, and I don't think you would have met her had you not moved out here.
Oh, dude,
no.
Never, dude. I moved out to Colorado twice in 7 years because I tried to get custody of my niece.
Right. Yeah.
Crazy, dude. And I remember my other friend was like, when I was like, yeah, this thing with my niece isn't working out. I'm going back to Colorado, man. I don't want to be here if it ain't for her, if I ain't going to be able to take care of her, you know? And he's like, oh, man, what are you talking about? You ain't going back to Colorado, dude. You ain't moving back out there. Like, and I was like, looked at him. I was like, don't tell me what I'm going to do or not going to do, because I've already proved everybody wrong once. Like, I'm going back where I want to be because this didn't work out. I'm going back out there, man. Like, that's where my life is, man. I don't want to be here. The only reason I did it is I made a sacrifice for some little girl. Didn't work out, and it wasn't going to work out. So, yeah, dude, I'm going back to Colorado, man, because it's, like, gorgeous out there, and I don't have a bunch of people telling me I'm not going to do something.
Right.
You know, I love the way it turned out. Yeah, it's been hard. Shit. It's been real hard, man. But
anything worth doing is.
I don't want it
if you're going to change your situation, if you're going to make your situation better, it's going to be hard. Like, it really is. Hard. If you want, like, I'm not going back to the example of like getting a college degree, but like if you want that bachelor's degree, they're not just going to hand it to you, right? You got to put in the work. If you want to build your business, nobody's just going to hand you a successful business or ripped abs or like a good marriage. Nobody's just handing you that stuff. You work at it.
I love when I hear people go watch like a fighter and they're like, I could probably do that. I'm like, well, then do it then.
Then do it. Yeah,
the reason why you're saying I could probably do that means you're never going to, because you won't.
Right.
Just shut up. Like, because I'm a fighter. I'm a former fighter, and I know what it takes. And I was never like a UFC champion or any like high level champion, you know. But I have an understanding of the glory that you see is nothing compared to the work that they've put in.
Oh no. Oh yeah.
Like, that's the moment they've been striving for, and it's great. But you don't understand the thousands and thousands upon thousands of hours and years of sacrifice of not going to the bar with your friends when they want to go and all this stuff to become a champion. And then you're going to sit there and be disrespectful enough to say, I could do that.
Oh, yeah, no.
I could do that. Like, no, you couldn't, man, because if you could, you would have. You would be on that TV. I wouldn't be talking to you right now.
Yeah. So one of my buddies he does not Muay Thai, jiu-jitsu. And he was talking about one of his trainers he was like fighting and he was exercising, he was training, right? And he was like, I want you to record this. So he started recording his trainer training. And the guy, I think he owned the gym. Like, he's the man. By the end of his training session was like sweating and panting and like exhausted. And he looked at the camera and he said, if you don't feel like this, you're not training right.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah.
I've had sessions in Muay Thai, especially when I was training for a fight, where in 2 hours I lost 6 pounds, 7 pounds, anywhere 5 to 7 pounds in 2 hours.
Yeah,
like,
I believe it.
And that's not even changing shirts. That's wearing the same heavy shirt. If I was switching shirts, it might have been a little more, you know, because you got to keep putting dry stuff on to let your body keep sweating so it doesn't
Yeah.
keeping it. But yeah, I mean, listen,
You just, yeah.
with
I mean,
anything,
you
man.
got to get past that like spectator syndrome. It's like the person yelling at the football game, like, "How
Oh,
did you not see that? Like, what are you doing?" Like, okay, for one thing, you literally have a bird's eye view and you have instant replays. Of course, you saw it. You're a spectator. But when you're out on the
I know.
field with the helmet on, like you're just in the thick of it, you can't see anything. Like you
People
don't know
in your
what's.
face.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like you don't know what's
Uh-huh.
going on.
That's
It's
what makes
yeah, it's
Tom Brady the greatest, in my mind. He is the greatest football player to ever step on an NFL field. Ever. That guy just won his, what, I think his 7th Super Bowl.
oh wow.
43 years old, dude.
He's 43? Oh,
43 years old, and he just won
7.
a Super Bowl. And didn't just win. Kansas City Chiefs. Now I don't follow football much anymore, but
Right.
I do know Kansas City
Right.
Chiefs were 14-2 going into the playoffs. They were the team to beat. Tampa Bay
Right.
11-5 going into the playoffs. Tom Brady is Tom Brady, but the Buccaneers, they're like they don't have the team around them, whatever. They were expecting the Chiefs to win, and they beat the Chiefs 31-9. Like,
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
smoke.
Yeah. Yeah.
43 years old, man. I'm like, you will never ever see another football player again like him unless they allow steroid use.
Right. True. Unless they're
You
a
know what I
robot.
mean? Like, unless they allow
Yeah.
some crazy drugs, you can
Right,
take whatever you want.
exactly,
This is the
yeah.
league of do whatever
Yeah.
you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's natural. That guy's always been on top of his health and all that. But man, I
Right.
mean,
Right.
that guy was like drafted, I think 198 or 199, somewhere around, right under 200's pick, like 6th round.
Yeah.
And no one ever thought this guy. I mean, he almost was like didn't go to any like real team. I mean, he almost got
Right.
swept under the rug and nowhere near a number 1 draft pick. But I'll tell you now, he's better than any of them you could have ever picked number 1.
Yeah.
Like it's,
Absolutely.
I mean, talk about taking advantage of a moment in your life and becoming. And when he became the starter of the Patriots, I think it was Doug Flutie. I remember saying it right. Got hurt. I think it was in a playoff game, maybe. Forget
Yeah.
what game, but he got hurt. Tom Brady comes in just from day one, just like, yeah,
Right.
this is the guy. This is the
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
I mean, and Flutie was getting old, but I mean, come on. And if everybody's like, yeah, the Patriots this, Patriots that, well, he goes to the Buccaneers and does it all over again without
Yeah.
Belichick.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
who was the one running the
Right.
team? I don't know, because the Patriots didn't even make the playoffs.
Yeah. 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 It's
Oh
amazing.
man, I mean, you can hate a guy like that. Oh, a lot of people give him a like, oh, screw Tom Brady. I hate the Patriots, blah blah. But listen, you got to give credit when credit
Yeah.
is due, and that
I mean,
guy
he's
has
gonna have
been
a Super Bowl ring for most of his fingers, right?
the guy looks like he can play another 5 years easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
he can
it
fill
is
up every finger.
insane.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's won 14 conference championships. I believe I'm right on that. 14.
Yeah. That's wild.
Like Hall of Famers will win
Yeah.
like a Super Bowl and like a couple championships and still make the Hall of Fame. I mean, this
Yeah.
guy is. Yeah, I just went off the deep end.
Oh no, that's great. Yeah, I don't know anything about football, so I had no idea that he had won 7 Super Bowls.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure 7 because I think he won 6 with the Patriots.
Yeah.
That's all.
Um,
I'm gonna look it
yeah,
up while
no,
you're talking.
I think it's true. Yeah. So yes, some people have. I think everybody has a natural talent for something, right? Everybody has a natural gift for something. Einstein said everybody's a genius, but if you judge a fish on its ability to climb a tree, you're going to be disappointed. Right? You're going to be disappointed. Everybody's a genius with something, and it's a matter of like figuring out what that is. I can already tell you, my daughter, she's an entertainer. She's a dancer, a singer. She loves music. She is a performer. She's going to be she's going to be a triple threat. She can sing. She is, man. She's going to be amazing. She already is amazing. When she plays piano, She's not just like banging keys and making noise. She's figuring it out. She's making melodies, you know, like she's putting in, she's intentional about how she plays that piano, especially when you walk out the room. Like if you leave the room and she thinks she's by herself, it's beautiful. As soon
she
as
really gets into it. Like she doesn't feel embarrassed or anything.
Yeah. As soon as you walk in, that's when she's like, blah, blah. She like starts getting all crazy. Because it's like, oh, I feel embarrassed. I should be silly. Which is actually why people make silly faces in photos. They don't make silly faces because they're trying to be funny. People make silly faces because they're insecure.
Yeah, yeah.
But anyway, like, but it's also hard work. Like, you can have all the genius in the world, but if you don't do anything with it, it's going to waste, right? It's like, you know, when Elon Musk turned 30, I think he said it was when he turned 30, he had kind of a crisis because he said, oh, I'm no longer a child prodigy. I'm just a smart, wealthy 30-year-old, you know? And so, but that's the thing. He could have given up and said like, well, my glory days are over. I'm 30 and I'm not a child genius anymore. But he didn't, you know?
Yeah. When you know, what's crazy about a guy like that is like when you attain so much wealth and you still have the drive to invent and create stuff and try to really do things better. That's why he's in the position he's in. There's people that are just special, and no matter, it's not always about the money. I mean, you look at a guy like Jeff Bezos. People are like,
no longer CEO, by the way.
Yeah, I know he stepped down. Because of the anti-union stuff, I guess.
Oh, I had no idea. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's got stuff. I think employees. Now, I barely know what I'm talking about, but I think what it is, because it said he stepped down due to the anti-union pushback. So I think what's happening is a lot of the workers are probably fed up with long hours and short pay, knowing the company is the biggest company in the world. So, I mean, pay your workers a little bit more, and you don't even pay taxes. So I think they're trying to create a union, and the company itself is giving it a lot of a pushback. So I think he ended up stepping down. I don't really know how that works with him, but you look at a guy like that who is the richest man in the world by far. They say he's going to be the first one to be a trillionaire.
I believe it.
And he still has all the ambition in the world to keep pushing. So it's like, it's that
ambition that got him to where he is in the first place.
Yeah. It cannot just be about the money at that point. Like people are like, don't you have enough money? And I'm like, I just don't think it's the money. I think it's the mentality.
When you hit $84 billion or like 800, hang on.
He's worth his company. Bezos, I think his net worth is like $150 billion or something.
$193.6 billion. Is
that what he's worth, or is that what Amazon's worth?
That's his net worth.
Yeah, Amazon's probably worth $500 billion or more.
Yeah. So, it's not about the money. I think once you hit $1 billion, there's a point at which you're just like, I can buy whatever I want. But what's my motivation now? It's not money. I got plenty of that.
It's not money.
Right?
That's what. Yeah. I just think people miss that. They're like, don't you got enough money? Bye 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 bye. And I'm like, dude, it's not the money. Like, why do you think that guy got the money he obtained in the first place? Because he is there's something that drives that dude beyond your or my comprehension, because I don't have that kind of drive. Now, I'm a driven person, but I do not have the kind of drive that like an Elon Musk or a Jeff Bezos has, to have millions upon hundreds of millions of dollars and just keep on going.
Right.
I know that if I hit the lottery for $50 million, now I would invest some of that money. I would buy property, whatever. I would probably own real estate. Is realistic what I'd probably do with it.
Yeah.
But I'm not really working, dude.
You're like, just being honest.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not really working.
Well,
like, I'm not really trying to go, all right, I got 50 million. Let's turn it into 300 million.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll make another 10 or 20 million just out of like the fact that I have all this money in the bank, I'm going to buy some property. But
Yeah. Well,
maybe I don't buy anything. Honestly, I probably just ride off to the end of the sunset, and nobody knows who I am, and I got all the money in the world, do whatever I want, and I'd be a silent investor for some people that I am close to, like you or something. But
yeah,
maybe I just do nothing.
The founder of MySpace, when he sold it, he took his millions and just went off and did photography. He was like, I'm good. I'm gonna go be a photographer, and that's what I want to do. I mean, he was totally fine with that.
Yeah, you don't have to have a Phantom. You don't have to have 100. Conor McGregor. Do you know that name?
Yeah. I know who it is.
I think whether you're a fighter fan or not,
he's all over the news. Yeah, everybody knows who he is. Yeah.
I'm watching him play with this kid the other day on an Instagram video, and I'm looking at his house, and I'm like, Jazel, everything's plated, everything's gold. Like, this is like a real palace, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
unnecessary.
Yeah, but I mean, says who?
Well, yeah. Well,
it's unnecessary just because I can't do it, but you know what I mean?
No, I just mean like, yeah, it's unnecessary. But I was also going to say, I was going to defend that. Like, we have this obsession with telling rich people what to do with their money.
Oh my goodness.
We're obsessed with it, right? It's like, just let the people do what they want with their money. Nobody's telling you what to do with your money. You know, you could look at somebody who makes $50,000 a year, which nowadays is not that much. Someone who makes $50,000 a year, and you could say, your yearly, like your net worth, you could feed 12 African villages. Therefore, I think you should go do that. You should feel terrible about yourself, and you should go feed those African villages. Yeah. That's not right. Could they do that? Yes. Should you tell them that they have to? No, because that's their money. They earned it. The other example, and this is something that my grandfather-in-law shared with me, and I thought it was a brilliant example of, it was like anti-communist, anti-socialist propaganda, but it was also, it made a good point about like telling people what to do with their stuff, their money. Imagine being in school, you get like a 4.2 GPA, you're top of your class, right? And then the teacher says, well, since you're doing so well and you've earned this GPA and you're doing so amazing and you've earned this, we're going to take some of your GPA and we're going to distribute it to the rest of the school who didn't perform as well and who didn't work as hard. How do you think that student would feel?
Shitty. And what am I doing this for?
What am I doing this for? What's the point? Mm-hmm. That's what we're doing when we tell billionaires and millionaires to give their money away. Should they? I think morally and ethically, yeah, I think they could probably benefit from being generous. Do they have to? No, they don't. That's their stuff. It's their money. Let them do with it what they want.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
yeah.
I've always heard people like the whole Bernie Sanders saying tax the wealthy, 60, 80%, which, I found out.
Say goodbye to new jobs.
Which I found out that like during World War II and all, like the wealthy were being taxed at like 84%, 85%, which is insanity to me. I'm like, okay. And I've heard people that I've worked with and people that make a little, double what I make, let's say. Say they make whatever. And they're considered, comfortable.
Right.
And they say it. And I'm like, okay, you say that, but if you had $80 million in the bank and someone wanted to take 80% of it because you have too much, how would you feel about that? If nobody gave you a penny, say like in my situation, in your situation, nobody ever gave us a damn thing. We grew up, we come from very humble beginnings. Mm-hmm. If I obtain $100 million because I grinded my butt off for however many years and I had a breakthrough and something happened and things took off and I made $100 million, got to give 80% of it away. So 20 million of it's mine. No, I'm not okay with that.
They just stole 80 million of your.
I'm not okay with that. Now, listen, do I think I should pay no taxes? No. I will pay my fair share, and I will probably donate. That's me. But the fact is, taxing the wealthy just because they have money and they can afford it, I just don't think that's the right answer. I just don't get that mentality of like, I've heard that hashtag eat the wealthy, eat the rich. And I'm just like, dude, calm down, because you're only saying that because you're not rich. If you was rich, you'd be
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
whoa, slow down.
You're too lazy to do it yourself.
Like, put away your knives and your forks.
Yeah.
You're not eating me.
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, we have this obsession with telling the rich what to do. It's like, would you just let them be? Who cares what they do? Who cares? Like, you're just wasting energy focusing on what someone else is doing. Just focus on you, make yourself successful, and let other people, like, who cares? Really? What does it matter?
I don't
what
get
does it
all
matter?
wrapped up in that.
Like,
I like the fact that people can make a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's not capitalism.
Wonderful.
Like, people shit on capitalism. Like, listen, capitalism, I just started my own business. I'm not a millionaire, but I have a chance to be one.
Yes.
I like that. I like those odds.
Or to not be, and that's your choice, right?
That's my choice.
That's your choice.
I'm sorry, but people that just shit on capitalism, like, yeah, there's some bad parts of it. Of course.
When it's
nothing's
abused.
perfect.
Yeah, when it's abused, but
but the fact that capitalism shouldn't exist and we should I disagree, because capitalism is what allowed me to start my own business, and I can do whatever. I can grow as big or stay as little as I want.
Yeah, what I find amazing is that the people protesting capitalism, they're doing it on their iPhones, and they're doing it on their computers, and they're doing it wearing clothing they bought at Target, and and they're drinking their Starbucks, and like, you do realize that you're protesting the very thing that has made you as comfortable as you are.
Yes. Just like people that you're rich, you got plenty of money, and I'm broke, while I chat this and tweet this on my $1,300 iPhone or the new Galaxy S21.
Yeah, people need some perspective. Like, you do realize that one of the reasons why you're poor is because you got the new phone. Like, that's why you're poor, right? And
make it last. Don't get a new phone every time one comes out. Like, my
goodness.
iPhone is 3.5 years old, and people that get new phones all the time would be like, what? You got a 3.5-year-old iPhone? Like, yeah, it still works, man. Now I'm about ready to get a new one because it's about to kaput on me. But
just buy one refurbished. Buy the same model. That's what I do. Yeah,
I would, but I kind of want to upgrade after 3.5 years.
All right. But you know what? You're free to do that. It's your money. You do what you want.
They also offered me a new iPhone 12 for $600.
Yeah.
So it's like $600.
If you can do it. Yeah, if you can do it. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I get it, man. It's like, you don't complain about somebody else having more money than you. Look at your own self and your budgeting and how you spend your money and how hard do you work? How many hours a day do you sleep versus work?
Yeah.
There's 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
I like to get my 8. I can run on 4 or 5 if I need to.
Right. Yeah. It doesn't do you any good to get bent out of shape because someone else has more than you. You just focus on you and what you can do, and you'll probably end up being more successful because of that. Yes. Right. And so,
what do they say? I forget the quote. I have to look it up. It's a good one. But like, just comparing yourself to other people, it's a fool's endeavor. Like, do not compare yourself to somebody else. And your situation is not their situation and vice versa. Yeah. Your mindset, your way you're physically built, there's a lot of variables. And sometimes it's the right place at the right time. It's the right idea at the right place at the right time with the right person that heard your idea, and boom, you skyrocketed. You can't be mad at somebody because that happened to them. I'm happy for people. Like, hey, you just struck the lottery and you won $50 million. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to congratulate you. I'm not going to say, hey, can I borrow some money? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I don't care. I know you got it if you won $50 million, but my first instinct is not to ask somebody for money. Or be like, you got it. You could, like, no, like, my first instinct is be like, damn, that's awesome. Mm-hmm. Congratulations, dude. Like, you don't have to work anymore. Like, whatever, it's like, I'm happy for someone.
What? Yeah, you can.
Who's that?
That's
see a
Mindy.
hand.
Yeah. Yeah, he can see me.
Tell him I'm saying hello.
Oh, Mindy's saying hello.
Oh, Mindy. Hey,
Yeah,
hello.
Yeah, what we were saying. Yeah, so the average, what is it? The average American makes, it's this like insane like statistic. The average American makes a lot more money than the rest of the world does. Like I think America, if you're an American, you're like in the top 2 or 3% of the world.
Yeah, don't they say if you make $35,000 a year or more, you're in the top 1% of the world?
Yes, exactly. So therefore, you should give all your money away.
Listen, I'm part of the 1%, bro. Barely.
Exactly.
But I'm part of the 1%.
Yeah. If you're an American, you need to look in the mirror and realize the 1% is you. You're the 1%.
Stop.
Like, yeah.
I'm sorry, but the expecting rich people to pay for everything. And it's like, look, man, I get it. Like, if you make $100 million and you pay 2% tax, like, and I pay 20%, and I'm comparably to you, I'm broke, I'm poor.
Right.
That's not fair. Like 20% is 20%. That's the income tax. That's the income tax. Don't tell me because their 20% is more than my stop. Okay. It's percentage of what you make. Don't compare somebody who makes millions of dollars a year to me who makes less than 100 grand a year. Like, don't do that. But expect them to pay for everything and be like, oh, we should tax them 80, 90%. Like, yeah, you'll say that, but you'll never have a chance of becoming wealthy if that's the way the wealthy are going to be taxed.
You won't want to be.
Capitalism will go right out the window. People will start hiding their money because rich people can hide their money fairly easy. They can do it. Oh, they can pay. They pay people that can do that shit. They can hide it. So then you got trickle down effect. Well, if they're not paying it and they're hiding their money, well, somebody's got to pay. Well,
Well, they're not.
Where
the
middle class comes in.
Yeah, exactly. And they're not creating new jobs. They're not innovating. That's the other thing. Capitalism is the nursery for innovation, right? Because when you have it in a capitalist system, the whole drive to excellence is creating products people want, making them cheaper and higher quality so that more people can buy them. That requires innovation. Mm-hmm. We would not have smartphones without capitalism. We would not have clothing in mass quantities the way we do, affordable, quality clothing without capitalism.
Well,
right? Because that's the whole point, is that if you want to compete in the free market, you have to innovate and you have to make things cheaper and more accessible and better than anybody else. And that's why our generation, right, has had a higher quality of living, higher living standard than any generation before us. Because capitalism has driven that innovation to make things accessible and cheap and high quality at the same time, right? Mm-hmm. Like HVAC. Where would HVAC be without capitalism?
You know, I have to say, I'm going to play devil's advocate here, okay?
Okay.
What about China? They potentially in the next 10, 15 years are going to pass us up as the global superpower, the economic superpower.
Right.
And they're communist. And I'll tell you, their citizens are not free just to invent and create whatever they want and build their own company however they want. Their company, every company in China, from the way I understand, is part of the government. They do nothing without the government having a hand in it.
I agree. But
so how does that work? Because they are
that's
crazy
the thing.
Technology
that they've borrowed, right? They're also willing to pay people to invent. They're willing to pay people. It's called brain gain. That's what sociologists call it. It's this phenomena called brain gain, where a country is wealthy enough to hire the brightest minds from other countries. So it's not that the United States is necessarily that smart. We've just had the resources to hire people who are that smart from places like Asia, and India is part of that, Europe, and all around the world. We can just hire the smartest people and tell them, invent, make things better, innovate. I think China's doing the same thing. It's not that their system of government is naturally going to drive innovation, because it won't. This is another reason why the greatest innovations in the past century have come out of the United States. I mean, you think about
that is true. Yeah.
Because of the free market, because Apple, because Intel, because IBM, right? There are these companies that have created the modern world because they had the freedom to do so.
Right.
And they weren't tied to the government. Like, it was just guys in their garage who wanted to compete in the free market, and so they did. I look at, like, the 1970s especially was the explosion of Silicon Valley. The 1970s was that's when the baby boomers put their brains into high gear, because you think about what was invented in the 1970s. The microprocessor was invented in the 70s. Touchscreens, text messaging, digital cameras, video games. What else?
Hold on a minute. Touchscreens?
Yes, touchscreens were invented in the 70s. They didn't get widespread use until much later. But
like way later.
MP3 players were invented in the 70s. CDs were invented in the 70s. Digital media. So yes, I'm telling you, the 1970s was the explosion. So everything we use on a daily basis, invented in the 70s, but not matured and like commercially viable until early 2000s. Mm-hmm. Because, the technology needs to be refined, it needs to be smaller, it needs to use less energy. Right. And these things have to happen. But
it's too expensive for the average consumer.
Exactly. Yeah. But it has to be refined. And so, the modern world was really invented in the 1970s. And it totally blows me away.
It's pretty wild because, I will say why we were talking about, like you were talking about China, is like they have been nailed a lot for intellectual theft,
absolutely.
A lot. And when you're true, when you look at like the last 100 years, I mean, this is controversial for some people, but we were the first to land on the moon. Personalized computers, all that. The first cell phone, mobile device was made in this country, was invented in this country.
The internet
was built.
Not the World Wide Web, but the idea of the internet, like interconnecting computers, is an American invention.
Social media was invented in America.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There's a lot of arguments.
Anyway, I think this idea that capitalism is bad is just people who want free stuff. They don't care who pays for it, which is ultimately going to be them. And they don't want to work. They don't want to innovate. They just want to complain and make everybody else pay for stuff.
It seems to be that way. Me and Olga were watching, we watch a lot of different shows, but we watch a lot of shows based on like, I wouldn't say a lot. I'm getting exaggeratory, but I would not say we watch a lot of shows that base on this, but we watch some shows that base on like life in other countries.
Okay.
And I'm like, you look at some of these countries and how poor they are and all this, and I'm like, and she's not from this country. She's from Spain. Right. And even she agrees with me. Like, it kills me how people complain about the dumbest shit in this country. Like, It is not a big deal what word someone, it's offensive. It's offensive because you made it offensive.
Yeah.
But when you look at, like, Africa, 5,000 kids a year. I think it's a year, or maybe it's a day. It's a staggering number. They die from not having clean drinking water.
Yeah.
just
Oh, yeah.
not having clean drinking water. So you want to cry because someone offended you over a word that's not widespread known to be offensive. It's just the way
Yeah.
someone expresses themselves. And then you
Yeah.
got these Congress people like the one, amen and a woman. Shut your freaking mouth, dude. That's
Yeah.
that's the topic of the day for us to
Yeah.
worry about.
Yeah.
We got
Those
people
are the biggest.
dying
Yeah.
in poor countries because they don't have clean drinking water. Like, what are we doing in this country? Like, this is one of the, like, yes, we are one of, we probably jail and prison more people than anywhere else in the world, but we also have a large population and we have a huge mix of cultures here, which sometimes doesn't go together well. Okay. You're going to have problems. And we also are a free country where you could do whatever you want. And listen, some of the stuff you want to do, there's going to be consequences for. But
absolutely.
there was, I forget what country was. This guy stole a car. Never hurt nobody. Just stole a car.
Yeah.
He got 20 years. 20 years. Like, dude, that's not happening in America. That is not happening in America. Now, if you assault someone, like attempted murder and stole the car, now you probably still wouldn't do 20 years.
Oh, no.
The only way you're going to get life in prison, like 25 to life, is if you do it's got to be a heinous crime, man. I mean, or you was moving a lot of crazy drugs for the multiple time or whatever, like you had to be really a real repeat offender. But when we saw that, it's just like, man, like people in this country, when they complain, like me, I was in Iraq. I was telling her the other night, like we're getting a shower last night. And I'm like, man, I was like, I remember I didn't take a bath or a shower or anything for 32 days when I was in Iraq.
Yeah.
32 days, dude. I mean, you smell so bad, you want to run away from yourself, but you can't, You can't run away from yourself.
Yeah.
Our first shower was a tent with PVC piping running through the top of the tent, and it was hooked up to a water truck. So the water was like trickling out, and it was like just perforated PVC piping. I mean, it was cold as shit, and that's what it was. But we were all so happy to have a shower. And it's like, when I was in apartments, people were like, this is crazy. I don't have my water pressure. I don't have hot water, blah, blah, blah. My temp isn't right. They would just complain. And I'm like, and you know how bad I wanted to just shake them and be like, hey, you got running water, man.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Like you could still be clean with cold water, dude.
Absolutely.
Now I get it. It sucks, but it's
only because we don't know any different. That's the only reason it sucks. If you, as an American, grew up in, I don't know, I'd say Alabama in the 1700s, just a random spot. Alabama in the early 1800s. There's a good chance you did not have running water.
Probably not.
There's a good chance you didn't have proper sanitation. You were probably eating the same thing every day of your life. You go back to the Middle Ages, and the average European peasant in the Middle Ages, they didn't have clean showers. In fact, they weren't even sure if they got a cut, if they'd even survive a cut, like a wound, like a simple wound, because it might get infected. They couldn't drink the water because, well, the water was probably infected too. And they were living off of bread and cheese and maybe some apples. And, dysentery was a real thing. Like, life was hard. It was hard.
Yeah.
And we have the audacity to let the words that people say ruin our lives because we just can't get over ourselves.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a real thing, man. It bugs me because I'm like, y'all want to preach about racism and all the whole thing when Trump did the Muslim ban, and I don't like the fact, and I don't know if it actually was he called it the Muslim ban, but
Right.
There was a threat because there was people that were infiltrating these people that were really looking for asylum. They were part of that group and they were bad people. Like that, you're
Yeah.
gonna have that.
Yeah.
But I remind people, like, if you've never been to one of these Middle Eastern countries and really been there, really see how they operate, shut up. Because it's like, I don't want to hear they're not bad people. Listen, there's a lot of them that are great people. Okay. There's a lot of people in this country that are great people. But we also have murderers and rapists and people that would do some.
Yeah.
I mean, Jeffrey Dahmer was in America and he was slicing people up, keeping them in the freezer. He's eating them.
Yeah.
Like, get real, man. To act like there's no bad people coming over here and you just want free open borders, you got to be shitting me. Especially you go to these Middle Eastern countries and like I've heard argument like Iran has a lot of transgender. They're very progressive. No, they are not. They have a lot of transgender because if you are gay, they will throw you off a building.
Yeah.
They will murder you in the streets. It is against their religion, their law, and everything they stand for. But if you get a sex change and you become a woman and you was a man, you're not gay. You're not considered gay. There's like a loophole.
Right. Right.
So it's like, go to some of these countries. You want to talk about women's rights in this country? Like, I get it. There is some, like, women just started voting less than 100 years ago. Like, I get some things are okay, credible, but there's a lot that is not. Go to a Middle Eastern country and talk to them about women equality. They'll tell you about some shit.
Oh yeah, in fact it's the Western world. It's the Western, European world, America, England, Canada, that has actually done more for equal rights for everyone than any other group or series of governments in the history of mankind.
Mm-hmm.
We have done more for women's rights, civil rights, than any other culture or country in the world, and people are still up in arms. Yes, things are not perfect now, but if you look at the legal structure of things, actual policy, it is not a racist country.
No.
Right?
Overall, no.
No, it's not.
You have people that are racist, but they're just dumb people. They're going to be however they are anyways.
Exactly. You can't control that.
Disregard them.
Yeah, just because some CEO is racist doesn't mean that the system itself is. All it means is that this guy who happens to be the CEO of this company is a racist.
Yep.
It's gonna happen, right?
It's gonna happen.
You can't have bigots.
You're gonna have people that hate people just because they're unhappy with themselves.
Exactly.
But when you look at the masses, most people care. Most people are not going to be like, oh, you're black or you're Mexican. Well, I hate you for that. It's not happening, and it really bums me out when people act like this country was built on racism. Not really. This country, that was the times we were in. Back then it was okay. And then, you got Abraham Lincoln to abolish slavery, but it wasn't really gone, and it's like.
People seem to forget that it was white people who ended slavery.
Yeah.
Let's let that settle in a little bit, okay? It was white people, predominantly Christians, who fought to end slavery. Not because it was beneficial or there was some political gain or anything like that. They wanted to end it because it was wrong, period. The people in slavery, they did not win their slavery. They didn't do it for themselves. It was the oftentimes wealthy Christian white people who had enough influence and power to sway political decisions who made that happen. Because they knew flat out this is wrong, and they fought for that. And people seem to forget that.
They do. I'll tell you, a good movie to watch.
Rich white people.
Good movie to watch that pertains to the fight against slavery.
Yeah.
In accordance to when Abraham Lincoln did away with slavery. It's hard to say abolish slavery because there was still a lot of slavery going on within like the jail systems and all, which still goes on today.
Yeah.
You got prisoners fighting wildfires for $1 a day. That's you're enslaving these people. I don't care if they did a crime or not. You're enslaving those people. And I'm sorry, but if you really want to rehabilitate someone, you don't pay them $1 a day to fight a wildfire. Okay? You give them you give them $100 a day. You give them $50 a day. $1 a day, dude, stop. So, but there's a movie me and we watched a while back called The Free State of Jones. And the main character is Matthew McConaughey. And it takes place about that. It's like slavery towards the end of slavery with Abraham Lincoln and all this stuff and what he did. And I think it's based on a true story. I think he was actually a real person.
2016. Okay.
It's a long movie.
Sure.
But it's worth watching.
Yeah.
If you ever have time, you and Marcy, check it out, man. Cause it's, it's those days were gruesome. I get it. You know, I really do. How we are not that far removed from slavery in this country, but to think that you don't have opportunities because you're black or because you're any kind of color other than white is so ridiculous to me. I mean, people are like, I know you're going to go. We had a black president, dude. Now, I'm sorry, but people are like, yeah, well, you know, it's still that counts for something. That counts for something. And to disregard the fact that we have had a black president is like, I think it's disrespectful to the man himself, in my opinion.
Yeah, and people forget how big a deal it was when it happened, right? You've gotten so used to that fact that you've forgot how big a deal it was at the time. We also forget that one of the wealthiest people in this country is a black woman. A woman and a black woman, Oprah Winfrey.
Oh,
right?
Goodness gracious.
Yeah, seriously. So,
but she's been feeling the fire though. For that crap.
Absolutely.
Which blows my mind.
I know. It blows me away too. Yeah.
I hate the fact that you got rich people that are black like her, that are ultra successful, business mogul, one of the richest people in the world.
One of the most influential and wealthiest.
Influential is the biggest one because you're spewing this. Yeah, the white man, this black people they're against black people. And it's like, dude, okay, let's stop. Let's back up. And instead of saying that, teaching these, because what hurts from it is these younger kids, the younger generation are coming up. They're being taught that they have no chance because they're black and that America's racist. They have no chance because of their skin color. So you're enslaving them at a young age to give them no hope towards their future, which is endless. The sky's the limit for them. But no, when you teach them that white people hate you, you can't be successful because you're black, the deck is stacked against you in any way possible. Don't even think about it. Why are you doing that to the younger generation? You should be empowering them. Look at these examples. We had a black president, Oprah Winfrey. Dude, the dude that invented peanut butter, which I don't think he gets credit for, was a black guy, man.
No, he gets credit. Yeah, he gets credit for it.
Does he? Okay, I think for a while he did. Yeah. But dude, listen. There's some
he became a peanut mogul. Like he created a peanut empire. It wasn't just peanut butter. Like he took peanuts and made it an entire industry.
Right. Aunt Jemima, dude. What they did to Aunt Jemima?
I know.
They took her. Like what? Like, dude, you want to talk about empowering black people, and then you're gonna say that that's racist? Like, dude, she worked for that money, bro. Like, they paid her, dude.
Yeah. Oh yeah. What amazes me is that. Yeah, go ahead.
Your grandkids still get paid from the royalties from that to this day, dude. And you want to take it off the shelves because it's racist.
Yeah.
Like you're creating this racism which, yes, it did exist in this country. And yes, some people do. It does exist within them. But overall, this is not a racist country that holds back people just because they're black.
It is not
So
it's not systemically
when you
racist.
take like Aunt Jemima off the shelves, dude, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like you're taking away from a black person who worked for that money. They did not make her do that. And maybe the pay wasn't fair, but let me tell you, I bet her grandson who was on the news a while back, I bet he gets paid a fair amount. I mean, because he's not complaining like, yeah, you know what, we haven't had a lot of money. I'm poor. No, he's not poor, dude.
Right.
So you're teaching this younger generation, these kids that are coming up, that they have no hope because they're black. When there's so many examples of great men and women who were black in this country have done great things. I mean, dude, you want to talk about Martin Luther King, man? I mean, bro, you want to talk about one of the most influential black people of our time, dude. Martin Luther King, man, he gave his life for a cause, and it worked.
Yeah.
Like, there is no more segregation. You don't have to drink from a colored-only water fountain. Like,
right.
Then you got, who else? Oh, man, I'm getting on a roll, but my mind's going. I cannot believe I cannot remember her name. Rosa Parks.
Rosa Parks, yeah.
Are you kidding me? Dude, like, yes, I get it. Times were tough for her, but for what she did, you could do whatever you want. We have a black president, man.
Yeah.
And you're going to teach these kids that they're still being enslaved and that the cards are stacked against them, man. Now, there's a lot of examples of people of color making it in this country, man. And I think they need to stop doing that to the younger generation. It's really handicapping them. You got to stop that.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I know. Dude, I know. Yeah.
It fires me up because I want these people to get more credit than what they do. Like, people ain't talking about these figures enough, man. Like, I don't like everything Obama did, but the fact that he became a first black president.
Yeah.
Like, dude, that guy should be talked about a lot. Yeah. And maybe he is, but I don't think enough, because we're still having, like, the younger generation of black people in this country are being taught that, I mean, like, you look at single family homes in a black community, it's higher than ever. Like,
yeah. And it's,
dude,
and
like,
it's increasing, I believe, in white communities too.
Yeah, it is. And it's weird. And I'm like, that shouldn't be.
No, I agree. Well, yeah. And
in any sense.
The thing is, like, I think we've gotten used to a certain set of problems, and we've gotten used to complaining about those problems. Right? We've gotten used to rehashing the same issues over and over again. And it's not that they're not issues. It's that, like, there are other issues in the world. There are other problems, right? Poverty in the United States it's out of control. Domestic violence is out of control. Depression is out of control. Personal health and mental health is out of control. And
people being overweight in this country.
People being overweight it's out of control.
Our medical problems in this country are out of control.
Scams, like just scams being run in this country is getting out of control. But we still want to focus on, like, the top 3, top 4, top 5 issues. But we don't want to actually fix anything, because if you fix it, what then? Like, I don't know. I think we like having the problems. We like having something to complain about. Well, and am I making any sense?
Yes, and I'm gonna follow up with that saying we got it too easy these days. Listen, when you exhaust yourself, okay, like an old farmer back 200 years ago, carrying buckets of water and walking behind a mule, all this stuff, right? Or today, people who work out, people who have a lot on their plate, whether they're running a business or they just work a lot. When you have a lot on your plate and you have a lot of things that are tough to do, you find that those people complain a lot less
Oh yeah.
than
Oh,
people
100%.
who
Dude, man,
sit
you hit
around
you
and
hit
don't
the
exert
nail on the
any
head.
energy. They
Yeah.
don't exert any energy.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, you know what? I don't like what I said. You know what? That's not offending me. You know what? You know what? You know what? And it's like, settle down, dude. Go run a couple miles.
Yeah.
Do 100 push-ups. Do 20 pull-ups. Do
Yeah.
something. But I bet if you exert yourself and you break a sweat and lose a couple pounds in a few hours and you feel tired afterwards, you're probably not going to have the energy to complain about all this shit. You're gonna, you know what? It's probably not even, that's not even a big deal.
Exactly.
Not even a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I get it. Some people might be worried about it, but you know what? I think there's bigger fish to fry, and that issue could probably take a back seat for a little bit.
Yeah. I agree. I think it's the equivalent of getting bent out of shape because someone got your order at Starbucks wrong. Right?
Dude.
Not a big deal. Who cares? Like,
Hey, I'll tell you, I'm guilty.
Yeah.
I wasn't working very much the first few months of my business, and there was dips, and I had there was times where I had a month where I wasn't doing anything, like wasn't working
Yeah.
at all for a month straight. And I hope that never happens again. But you know, it's like during that time, I found myself being irritated by things that normally would never irritate me.
Right.
Because I'm not exerting any energy. I'm not doing enough. I'm not occupying my mind with serious shit.
Yeah.
So the little things are bothering me. Since I've been working this whole like last 2.5 months, I've been really busy. I've been working pretty consistent. I find that there's a change in myself. Like I'm not as irritable. I'm not as like what was that? What was that? I don't read into things as deeply. I don't like things don't bother me. And I think we're all guilty of it, but realizing it and fixing it is something that a lot of people don't tend to spend their energy on. They just keep complaining.
Yep.
And they don't realize that everybody else is wrong.
Yep. I think anybody living in the slums of Kenya would do well to put Americans in their place a little bit.
Yeah, be like, I don't that word offended me. They'd be like, man,
like, Rick, really? That's what you're upset about?
Carry this bucket of water.
3 miles, 2 ways.
You're my bitch today. Like, you want to complain? Like, you're gonna carry this bucket of water, dude.
Yeah.
This bucket of water weighs 25 pounds.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, it's I think a lot of people need to really look into how some people don't have it as well. And it really, like, I look, we didn't come from humble beginnings, or we did come from humble beginnings. You know, we ate beans and cornbread. I mean, I don't know how many days a week.
Yeah.
If we got fish sticks, we was like, what? If we got McDonald's, we was like, what? You know what I mean? So
it's a big deal. Yeah.
But even then, we had it better than a lot of people across the board, dude.
Oh, yeah.
If you really want to get down, really dissect things.
Yeah.
So it's like
the fact that we could eat anything, period. Okay. The fact that we had food every day and then could go to our rooms and play Nintendo, right? We had problems. We had issues, right? It was not ideal. And we're still dealing with a lot of that stuff. But the fact that we could have food, we could play with each other, we could play our video games, watch a little bit of TV, go to school. That is already, just being able to do those few things is already worlds ahead of what most children in the world have.
Yep. And I will say, like, for me, I think it was different for me being the oldest. You know, 13 to 16 years old, I had it pretty rough. Like, there was times where I did not get fed by choice because they didn't. But anyways, that's for another day. But even with that being said, when I went to Iraq, dude, and saw the way some of these kids were living, I mean, they're willing to run out in front of our vehicles if a cracker package, because we would toss them food, and they told us to stop tossing food because they were older insurgents, older people that had they wear their robes and all that. They were walking up to get food from troops, and one of them got blasted with an RPG. Okay, so we stopped. They told us, you throw food, you're going to be in trouble. So I stopped throwing food. But at the time when we was throwing food out to them, like one time I threw a cracker, and they're vacuum sealed. So I mean, this thing took off like a frisbee, dude, and then it circled around circled around and landed in front of the truck. And these little kids they went to run out in front of the truck, man. And we had to slam our brakes on. The whole convoy stopped. So it's like they're desperate to where they're willing to risk their lives for a cracker, dude.
Yeah.
That's the way I looked at that. So I'm like, even at 2021, I turned 21 in Iraq. So at 21 years old, I saw firsthand that even in my worst days, I would not risk my life for a cracker.
Right. Yeah. That's good perspective. Yeah.
Like I was like, I got to get my shit together, man. Like I've had it rough, man. I've had hard times. I experienced a lot of abuse, a lot of different kinds of abuse, but dude, even I still have an opportunity that those kids do not have.
Absolutely.
And I never was willing to risk my life for a cracker.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody told me, would you risk your life for a cracker before I went to Iraq? I'm like, ah! What?
Yeah.
No. But I saw that shit firsthand. They were willing to jump in front of that truck for a cracker, dude.
Mm-hmm. I know.
It's all about perspective, man. And some people need more perspective in their lives, dude. Need to get out more.
Yeah.
I think that would be. Maybe we should wrap it up on that.
I think we should. No, I think I think that's the best illustration. That's good. So, all right. Thank you for watching this episode of Same Mom Doing It for Dads. I'm going to get everything fixed and uploaded and all that as soon as this 8-day work week is done. And then we'll be back on track. It's been an adjustment. So thank you. Joe, do you have anything to say?
I'll say thank you for watching. Please hit that subscribe button. If you want to keep hearing our videos and want to get the latest updates, hit that bell notification while you're at it. And stay tuned because we're only going to get better.
Only going to get better, man.
Get better, dude.
Triple digits. Here we come.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right. Bye.
See you.